How you guys doing? I'm in much better spirits today. Um, so I wanted to make a video about this book I'm reading. Um, it's called 48 Laws of Power. I'm sure some of you have kind of come across it. And I haven't kept it in the best condition, but I like to read it every now and then. I want to go to one chapter that I feel like will be very helpful to everybody. This is a book about like how to deal with people. Um, not everybody you meet are going to have like the best intentions for you, or you might tell them something personal about you, about yourself, but they could use that information against you. So this book really tells you how to deal with people and how to just be aware of them. You may not want to apply every single law in this book, but there is one I feel that is very practical and something that everybody could relate to. And that law is okay, so this is Law 10, infection. Avoid the unhappy and unlucky. So I'm just going to read like just a small kind of intro to this law. You can die from someone else's misery. Emotional states are as infectious as diseases. You may feel you are helping the drowning man, but you are only precipitating your own disaster. The unfortunate sometimes draw misfortune on themselves, and they will also draw it on you. Associate with the happy and unfortunate instead. Associate with the happy and fortunate instead. So, you may be having a good day at work, and while you might run into somebody that just sort of brings your mood down, because it's kind of already hard to be at work, especially if it's a job that you can barely tolerate. And you have those people that are like in a really good mood, and then you have those other people who complain about everything under the sun, and all of a sudden you're no longer in a good mood. So that's really what this is talking about. Like negativity is highly infectious. We sort of just take on the emotions of the people who surround us. So you can be a very positive person, but if you go into an environment where everyone's complaining, or they're just comparing, or they're just blaming, um, you might end up becoming that way too if you're around them long enough. Um, it's just hard. Or someone could be like the cause of their own suffering. They may start telling you about their personal problems, and I don't know, let's say someone's in a financial rut, and it could be a loved one, or it could be a friend, and you feel called to help after hearing their story, but you end up giving them some money, but then I don't know, let's say they gambled the money away, then they ask you for more money, and they give you some BS reason as to why they couldn't pay you back the first time, so you lend them some more money, and because you're trying to be so helpful, you're hearing this sob story. You get behind on, I don't know, a phone bill, then you get behind on your rent or something like that, and then you get um, you get thrown out of your apartment because you couldn't pay your rent. All because you kind of got sucked into the emotions of the other person who was kind of crying victim, but they really were the cause of their own suffering. Like, I agree with helping people who genuinely need the help, like who just are real victims. They are out of options and they're doing the best that they can. But then there are people who play victim, and those people are, like I said, the cause of their own suffering. They try to um, make it seem as if life is happening to them, uh, like they're a victim of circumstance, and instead of having the awareness to see that they're the reason that they're, you know, not caught up on their finances or whatever you want to call it. Um, and so it's very easy to get attached to these energies, because energy is highly infectious, whether it's positive or negative. So there's the flip side of that. If you go to work and you notice everybody is um, very positive, they're very grateful to be there, and they seem to be in such a good mood, and that they have more of an abundant mindset. You'll probably be happier to be there. You know, so that's how contagious energy is, and not contagious but infectious, because you also can absorb positive energy as well. So yeah, I wanted to go back to uh, this law here. So I kind of wish I had it ready already, but yeah, I would recommend this book. All the laws are great. Not all of them I would apply like in real life, but it just gives you a different level of awareness when it comes to dealing with other people, or um, trying to hire someone to work for you, and you're trying to figure out if a good friend of yours who's maybe not qualified, you're wondering, okay, would he be a good fit over somebody you don't like as much, but they are qualified. So there are different, a lot of good, laws here. I'm trying to find it. I wish I had it ready already, but okay, there we go. Law 10, infection, avoid the unhappy and unlucky. So yeah, they go into this story um, about this dancer. She was trying to kind of make her like career thrive. She wanted to, um, she wanted someone, I guess, to find some men who can kind of help her kind of pursue that. Um, so she was able to get the attention of like these very wealthy, like high class men, like we're talking like kings, and things like that. And when she got with these men and she told them, hey, I wanted to, um, I kind of need someone to, somehow she got them to help her get into a position of power so that she can kind of further pursue her career. And with each one of these men, they started having problems. Like when she gets in a position of power, let's say she became the countess, she would start being like rude to like the city people and started attacking them like, physically as well. And basically the guys that she was with, the friends of his have kind of had noticed um, the things that she was doing, and they're like trying to warn him, okay, this woman that you're with, she's causing you all kind of problems, and it's not a good look for you. But he's like, the men are like so in love with her, and they're kind of like engulfed in her problems, so they they end up just not listening to their friends. So what happened to one of the guys is I think he got dethroned from his position, and then he ended up getting shot because I think he was defending his woman or something like that. So yeah, pretty tragic ending. But another one of the guys, I think he was in a position of power, but he ended up dying because they got into a fight, and I think he ended up getting drunk, and then he fell into a deep depression. Then he died later on. Another one of the guys that she dated, maybe the third or fourth guy that she was with, um, I don't know what happened, but he ended up getting drunk, and then he died like years later. Just there's these tragic endings with every single guy that she ended up meeting. Another one, he went into poverty and then died from poverty. It's just like sad. Like every person that she interacts with, every guy that she dated, something tragic ended up happening to the guy. So she was really the cause of her own problems. Like these men would help her get into a higher position of power, or they would help her thrive, and she would just mess that up somehow. And then she would suck the guy into her problems, and then it ends up like affecting him. So if you ever get the book, it's a really good really good read. But it just goes to show like how powerful like your associations are. Like if you surround yourself with positive people who have more of an abundant mindset, who um, show gratitude, no matter what situation you're in, they're able to find something that they can appreciate about the situation that they're in. And then you have the other person who seems to find a problem for every solution. Like they are the cause of the problems. They may complain about money problems. They may complain about the way people treat them and all sorts of things. They're the type that blame other people. If you hear someone constantly blaming other people for their problems, they may be the type, you may be attracting yourself a negative person. And so I've been looking for strategies to deal with these type of people at work. At first I was, I usually would not respond, because at the work you may have people who gossip. You're definitely going to find one of those. You'll be able to spot them out very easily. And then there are the people who, are more positive or they're quiet and they don't get involved in drama. But you'll be able to spot them pretty easily. And so if they end up gossiping about another coworker, I typically would not respond. Now, if people can read the room, if they can pick up on that energy, they'll know, okay, you're not involved in all that. So some people would be able to tell that, okay, he doesn't really want to talk about that because he's not really responding. So that works sometimes. But sometimes you might have to just be straightforward and say, you know what, I don't really like talking about people behind their back. You might have to just say that, or you might have to just tell them that they're being negative. There's different ways to go about it. But this one girl, I guess, I was new at the job, and she was telling me about another coworker. She was like, "You shouldn't trust her. You know, don't talk to her. Don't trust anything she says." I don't like when people try to tell me about somebody else before I get to meet them. So I kind of already was side eyeing her a little bit, like, okay, why is she trying to? Like, I just got here. Like, let me see for myself. And that's why I told her, okay, listen, I don't know you two's history. It seems personal for you, is what I said. Like, you have something personal against her because this has nothing to do with me. So but yeah, I would defend this. I ended up talking to this girl. So many people had so many things to say about her. They weren't all negative, but most of them just said that she's quiet. She's just quiet. She keeps to herself. I'm like, okay, well, I'm kind of that way. I keep to myself, or at least I try to. So I was like, you know what? Let me just see how this girl is. But I've been working there for almost 2 years, and all these claims people are making about this girl, she doesn't bother anybody. She just literally just comes to work and mind her business. And I've worked with her like 8, 9 hours a day, and she has a pretty positive outlook on life. Like she's always motivating me to kind of push through the day. She's always like, we got this, we got this. It's a 9-hour shift, but we got this. So we're always kind of like amping each other up. So I actually like working around her. So lesson is when people try to like tell you about somebody else, just take an opportunity to find out how that person is yourself. Don't always believe what people tell you. Be wary of people who gossip about other people. Because they'll probably gossip about you as well. So, but yeah, I worked around this girl, and she uh she kind of uplifted my spirits. Like I enjoy going to work because of her. She hardly complains. It might be just very temporary, but she seems like a very positive person. And everybody else I talked to who told me about her, they seem negative. They seem to be the one who's actually causing all the drama and the gossip. She stayed out of gossip. She like that's why I noticed her. She was different from everybody else because she pretty much stays to herself. She socializes. She's nice. Um, I don't have anything bad to say about this girl. So I don't know what they were talking about. But like I said, I working there almost 2 years. I found out for myself. I haven't had a bad interaction with her. So every time anybody has anything to say about her, I would defend her as if even though we weren't friends, I liked her, and I would let them know, okay, listen, I don't have any issues with her. So y'all need to work that out. But I would just let them know, listen, I'm not doing any of that. And so most of them know not to say anything negative about her because they know that I'll defend her. Um, so that's how I roll. Um, so yeah, negativity. It's tough to deal with when you're trying to stay positive. You're trying to keep a positive mindset, and you could be having a good day, and then someone starts unloading you on you. They could even, I call it trauma dumping. Listen, we all need someone to, I don't know, we might need to vent or something for a little while. But you ever talk to somebody and your energy just like tanks? You're like, oh my God, like I feel, I didn't listen to this person's problems for 30 minutes and I don't even want to be at work anymore. Like I've been in too many situations like that, so I've learned to just sort of protect my energy. So yeah, have you ever encountered any negative people, people who like to gossip, people who just seem to have a complaint about everything? I call them the Goldilockses of the world. This porch is too hot, this porch is too cold, this bed is too hard, this bed is too soft, and nothing ever seems to be right. They're never satisfied about anything. I would avoid those people. Put them in quarantine, like just spend as little time as possible around them. you know um, like I said, you can, I wouldn't say doing the silent treatment, but just giving them very short responses, or maybe put on some headphones. That's a classic move at work. Sometimes that works, but then some people will talk to you as if they don't see these headphones in your ears or these big ear muffs, and like maybe I need to get some of them. Like I have the small ones, but maybe I need to get the giant ones so people know do not disturb. But that could be a little passive way of doing it. So you might have to just be direct with people. Sometimes that's necessary. Because sometimes your silence, people may see that as you're agreeing with them. You know, like I wouldn't respond sometimes. Some people would get it. Like, I don't know, if I was talking to someone and I noticed they weren't really giving too much of a reaction or they were just silent, I would be able to read that. Like I can read the room, but not everybody's going to be able to pick up on that energy. So you might need to just straight out tell them, listen, I'm not going to participate in the gossip. I don't do that. I mean, that's typically what I do. When this girl was telling me about, she had a problem with the girl that I actually liked, I said, yeah, I need to work that out. Put on your big girl panties and work it out. It's usually the women, though. I don't usually, we don't have these problems with men. It's just the women in the workplace for the most part. So, yeah, that's what I pretty much want to talk about. Just on the flip side of that, if you might even be a negative person, because I had to look at myself and say, hey, you know what? Maybe there's a part of me that's resonated on that frequency. Because if you're attracting negativity, there's a chance you could be operating on that frequency. Because when you're a light and you're like a very positive person, you will attract. Mm, how do I say it? You'll be tested. Like you're gonna meet negative people everywhere you go, but you can once they see that you're on a different frequency, that you're on a higher frequency, that you're not really gossiping, and that you're not participating in that, it should naturally repel those types of people once they see that you're in a higher frequency. But if you're attracting these people and they seem to be clinging to, you might need to check yourself and just see like, okay, are you agreeing with them in any way? Are you kind of speaking up? So you might have to just be firm with people to let them know that you don't really got time for that. So, but yeah, if Yeah, I might go over another law in this book, but I realize this video is already 20 minutes, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut it off. And I'll see you guys in the next one.